Hello, good evening and welcome to the Stade de la Mosson in Montpellier for a southern derby in Ligue 1. The final game in week 12 in France, Montpellier versus Olympique de Marseille, and a very, very important game for both of these two clubs who are pushing for European qualification. Montpellier currently occupying third spot, which would get them into the Champions League qualifiers. Marseille went into the weekend in fifth. They've dropped down to sixth following Saint-Etienne's victory earlier this afternoon. But Marseille can draw level with Montpellier on points if they clinch a victory here at the Mosson. And Marseille need to start finding their form, having stuttered in recent weeks. 3 defeats in their last 6 league matches, including last weekend's 2-0 loss in the Classique against Paris Saint-Germain. PSG victorious again this weekend. They are marching, it seems, towards another league title. They defeated their closest rival, Lille, by 2-1. They are now 11 points clear. But Lille's defeats could be good news for Montpellier. It could be good news for Marseille as well. Teams that are looking to push on and get into the top 2 or 3 in the Ligue 1 standings. Thierry Henry's Monaco defeated again yesterday away to Reims. They are still level on points though with Guingamp. Guingamp couldn't get anything today. They were beaten 5-0 away to Nantes. So Guingamp stay bottom, Monaco second bottom. No such problems for Montpellier, the 2012 champions, enjoying their best start to a campaign since that remarkable title-winning season under René Girard. Benjamin Lecomte is once again proving one of the most difficult goalkeepers to beat in Ligue 1. Montpellier had the best, or rather the second best defensive record in the league behind PSG last season, and they are continuing in that vein this time around. Just 7 goals conceded in 11. It's the joint best defensive record in the league along with PSG, and they're scoring goals, and that is why, of course, they are winning matches. Gaëtan Laborde, a summer signing from Bordeaux, has hit the ground running. He's got 4 goals in his last 6 league appearances, and his strike partner Andy Delort in even better form, 5 goals in his 5 last league matches. It's a new look attack, because if Montpellier were difficult to score against last season, they didn't get too many goals themselves. But it looks like Michel Dezakarian has found a better balance this season. This is the starting 11 that Dezakarian has gone for. Ambroise Oyongo, the Cameroonian left wing-back, not quite deemed fit enough to start this one. Oyongo on the bench then. It's looking like Paul Lan will fill in for Oyongo in the left wing-back position. Laborde and Delort in attack. They'll get support from Florent Mollet, the other summer signing, who joined from Metz. It's, as I say, a new look attack for Montpellier. Mollet, Laborde and Delort all enjoying good seasons so far. And Marseille have been leaking goals this season. That's been their principal problem, and that's why they are down in 6th position and already a whopping 17 points behind Paris Saint-Germain. Steve Mandanda missed the first few weeks of the campaign due to an injury. He's back. He's not necessarily back to his best form as of yet. Adil Rami, another one who took a bit of time to get over the exertions and the come down of a World Cup win. Adil Rami, Florian Thauvin and Steve Mandanda were 3 Marseille representatives for Les Bleus in Russia. The big decision, who to play up front, because it's a real problem these days for Marseille. Does Rudy Garcia opt for that man, Valère Germain? That's what he's done tonight. The other possibility is Kostas Mitroglou, or, as we saw last weekend, no attacker at all. It was a bold call from Rudy Garcia against PSG. He effectively played Dimitri Payet as a false number 9. And Marseille played well against PSG, but they did lack a bit of a cutting edge. They didn't get to the goal, and they were punished by the Parisians, who ran out 2-0 victors. Germain back in, though, today, looking to add to the 3 league goals he's managed so far this season. It's probably going to be a 4-3-3 with the same midfield trio that featured against Paris Saint-Germain. That means Kevin Strootman playing in the holding midfield role and flanked by Morgan Sanson, the former Montpellier player, and Luis Gustavo, the Brazilian. Payet and Thauvin, the internationals, looking to provide the quality from wide positions. Dimitri Payet prefers to play in a central number 10 role, but with this new 3-man midfield that Rudy Garcia is looking to instill, Payet is having to play a slightly different role. He'll begin tonight's game on the left. Well, I can tell you it's not been the sunniest of weeks down in the south. We've had torrential rain throughout the region, and it's a damp and cold evening tonight, but the Montpellier fans look to be in good heart. Well, they might, given Montpellier's flying start to the season. They lost their first game here against Dijon, a late winner for Dijon, but since then 10 games without defeat for Montpellier, and a chance to go joint second with Lille if they can inflict a defeat on OM tonight. Well, kick-off less than 5 minutes away now. And the players are gathering in the tunnel here at the Stade de la Mosson, a stadium that was renovated in time for the 1998 World Cup, which France triumphed in, of course. It's witnessed some dramatic nights through the years. Montpellier's first heady period arrived in the late 80s, early 90s, when Laurent Blanc and Carlos Valderrama were turning on the style. But their first ever league title, that memorable victory in 2012 when they pipped Carlo Ancelotti and Paris Saint-Germain. Olivier Giroud was leading the attack. That man, Vitorino Hilton, was part of the defence back then, and he is still going strong. Vitorino Hilton, 41 years of age, but an example to any young player, and certainly a terrific example to his teammates. He leads an exemplary lifestyle, is still one of the hardest workers on the training ground. A remarkable story. He left Marseille for Montpellier back in 2012, and Montpellier probably thought they'd get a couple of seasons out of him. He was 33 years old at the time, and here he is appearing in his 8th season at Montpellier's 237th Ligue 1 appearance for the club. Well, there seems to be a slight delay to the usual protocol. We should be seeing the players, though, any moment from now. Big night for Marseille. And the two teams take to the pitch here at the Stade de la Mosson. Montpellier versus Marseille. Two southern rivals Marseille very much a giant of the French game, but don't Montpellier just love rising to the occasion and getting one over their rivals from the Velodrome. Montpellier twice held Marseille to draws last season. This season, they are the team perhaps starting as slight favourites. They are unbeaten in their last 10 matches. They sit third in the standings. And this is the team that will be looking to extend that run to 11 without defeat. No Pedro Mendes, the Portuguese centre-half, missing today through suspension. Ambrosa Yongo, the left wing-back, also not fit enough to take his place. He starts the contest on the bench. So we've got young Nicolas Couza, 19 years of age, playing as one of the three centre-halves, and the experienced midfielder, Paul Lahn, filling in at left wing-back. Anthony Gauthier, today's referee. The coin toss taking place in the centre circle with Vitorino Hilton, the Montpellier captain. As we see the VAR officials, Dimitri Payet, the Marseille skipper. Michel Dezacarian, what a fantastic job he has done so far with Montpellier. And Rudy Garcia, who has just extended his Marseille contract until 2021. But Garcia could do with a victory, having seen his OM team stumble to 3 defeats in their last 6 league outings. He's made just one change from the team that was beaten 2-0 by Paris Saint-Germain last Sunday night. Valor-Germain coming into the starting 11 as Lucas Ocampos drops to the bench. For the first time this season, Marseille have no injury problems, no suspensions. This is their best team, and they need to prove their credentials this afternoon against the Montpellier side, 3 points above them in the standings. Oyongo among the substitutes then for Montpellier, another survivor of the title win in 2012, Suleiman Camara, also on the bench. Away we go at the Stade de la Mosson. Marseille with the rugby-style kick-off. We saw it last Sunday in the Classique against Paris Saint-Germain, a game that Marseille lost by 2-0, but they were very, very pleased with the performance. Marseille showing plenty of fight and causing real problems to the French champions. Rudy Garcia, the coach, wants more of the same today. He wants to see that same kind of determination against this very strong, very combative Montpellier side. Montpellier going into this game unbeaten in 10 matches. Ever since that opening day defeat here against Dijon, they have been absolutely superb. Montpellier with a win can move level with Lille in second. Marseille, if they win, will be level with Montpellier in third. Steph Mondonda throwing out to the impressive young defender, Boubacar Camara. 18 years of age, was impressive again last Sunday against PSG, although he did get outstripped for pace by Kylian Mbappe for the opening goal. Nicolas Couza, another very promising young centre-back, trying to switch the play. It's cut out by Amavi. Good pass from Payet, just Slightly overhit, gave Benjamin Lecomte the chance to collect. Lovely pass from Lecomte. Aguilar forward. Well, Montpellier had the second best defensive record in the league last season, but they struggled to score goals. This time around, they still have this outstanding defence. They have the joint best defensive record in the league at the moment, but now they have players who can score goals as well. No free kick as Aguilar goes down. The ball's clipped in. Mandanda is there. Gaëtan Laborde and Andy Delors, the two attackers, forming an excellent partnership, having both arrived at the club in the summer. It took them a few weeks to get going, but Delors and Laborde haven't stopped scoring in the last month or so. Rami to Camara. Camara slips. It's a wet evening in Montpellier. The rain has stopped for the moment. Luis Gustavo finding Thauvin. Bounassar now. Bounassar wants the corner. He's not getting it though. I think Damien Letalic thought it was a corner as well. He was running back into his penalty area to defend, but the goal kick's been given. Well, among the spectators here at the Mosson tonight, Franck Raviot, the goalkeeping coach with the French national team, and he'll be keeping a close eye, of course, on the goalkeepers, but both goalkeepers, Lecomte and Mandanda, French internationals, or at least Lecomte is very close to becoming a French international. He got his first call up during the last round of matches, didn't manage to get on the pitch. Valot Germain. Germain's performance will be under the microscope again in France. It's the ongoing debate, really. Who should be playing in attack for Marseille? Should it be Germain? Should it be Mitroglou? Should they perhaps try Ocampos as a false number 9? Germain is an accomplished striker, but generally likes to play with another attacker. We saw it when he played with Falcao and with Mbappe at Monaco. He was very effective. Rudy Garcia prefers to play with just one up, and Germain has struggled in this system. Another good pass from Lecomte, taken down by Laborde, but his pass was under-hit somewhat. Shkiri now. Lovely first-time ball from Delors. Laborde trying to catch out the Marseille defenders, but he's flagged offside. Gaëtan Laborde already has more goals than he managed in the whole of last season with Bordeaux. Just 3 in the league last term, 4 already this year. Now a lucky ricochet gives Sanson the chance to launch an attack, but his pass is easily dealt with by Paulin. Michel Derzakarian, the kind of no-nonsense coach that they like here in Montpellier, that Louis Nicolin, the former club president, Very much appreciated. And now, now that Louis Nicolas has sadly passed away, his son Laurent Nicolas continuing to run the club in a similar vein. It's all about hard work and a team ethic here in Montpellier. It's well defended by Daniel Congre. A chance for the home team to come forward. Delors. You can see what sort of mood he is in. Just as soon as he had a chance to get a shot away there, he tried his luck. The flag was up though. Koza finds Lan. Marseille trying to compress the game somewhat and deny Montpellier any space in the midfield. Bounassar with the throw. Thauvin touches off. Sanson to Sarr. Well, these two clubs won the French title fairly recently. Marseille in 2010, Montpellier in 2012. That was before the PSG domination set in. PSG winning the first of their titles in the Qatari era in 2013. They've won 5 of the 6 titles on offer as the cross goes far post. Bounassar. Good cross from Bounassar, just too high for Germain. Vitorino Hilton. The Montpellier skipper Hilton was part of the Marseille team that won the league title in 2010 and was then part of the Montpellier side that were champions 2 years later. Still going strong, Hilton, at 41 years of age. Absolutely remarkable person, a remarkable player. Kevin Strootman. Camara. Amavi. Gustavo for Camara. Kevin Strootman and Luis Gustavo still getting used to playing with one another in the midfield. Potentially one of the best midfield partnerships in the league. Strootman, Gustavo and Morgan Sanson today as a midfield 3. Mondonda finds the Dutchman Strootman. His pass looking for Germain. Thauvin loses out to Paul Lan. Sarr finds Florian Thauvin. Marseille's top scorer this season again. Florian Thauvin, 7 league goals to his name so far. 22 he got in the league last season and was rewarded with a place in Didier Deschamps' World Cup winning squad. Camara, Amavi, Adil Rami. Nice touch from Thauvin for Sanson. Sanson's run into trouble. Marseille still have it though with Bounassar. Kevin Strootman. Payet. The two most expensive players in Marseille's history, combining Dimitri Payet and Kevin Strootman. Here's Luis Gustavo. Thauvin. Good ball from Thauvin. Sanson overhitting that one. Morgan Sanson feels he was caught late. Laborde. Florent Mollet coming back to Skiri. Mollet again to Lan. Misunderstanding between Paul Lan and Florent Mollet. Now a chance for Thauvin to come forward. Florian Thauvin, he's got to pass on to his left, and he wasn't far away from picking out Dimitri Payet. I think it was the long legs of Elias Skiri who got back and denied Thauvin. Le Tallec. Congré to Hilton. Andy Delors getting the better of Camara, but his pass is a difficult one for Laborde. Plenty of intensity, not too much quality on the ball in the first 13 minutes, but Rudy Garcia was particularly impressed with the way his side equipped itself on Sunday night, last Sunday night against Paris Saint-Germain. They played with real fight and determination, and he's insisted he wants to see that every week. So far, they have shown that here against Montpellier. Coming in and catching his man from behind there. Nasty challenge on Damien Le Tallec, who joined the club on a free after his Red Star Belgrade contract ran out in the summer. A much-travelled player, Damien Le Tallec, the younger brother of Anthony Le Tallec, the former Liverpool player. Well, it would have taken something very special from to beat Mandanda from that sort of range. Well, neither goalkeeper has had a save to make so far, but if we're judging the keepers on distribution, and I think it's fair to say Leconte is ahead of Mandanda on points so far. Hugo Lloris, very much the number one. He's still the France captain. Alphonse Areola has taken his chance when he's been given an opportunity to play for France. Was outstanding in the game away to Germany. Defending for Marseille to do here. The ball is headed behind by a Marseille defender. So a corner to Montpellier, giving the home fans something to get excited about. Bounassar it was who won this ball above Delort. Florent Molly having a bit of trouble with the photographers. Produces a good delivery. Marseille don't defend it particularly convincingly. Really did whip that in well, Florent Molly. Justifying the long run-up he wanted. Nicola Cosa. Hilton. Aguilar. Good ball, first time. Finding Andy Delort. Delort towards Laborde, but Rami's there. Switch of the play towards Paul Larn. Mollet. Tackled by Gustavo. Playing a slightly more advanced role in midfield, Luis Gustavo, with Kevin Strootman employed in the holding role. Gustavo said it's something that he's perfectly happy about. Might even enjoy, he said, the opportunity to get forward a little bit more than he would normally. Sarr towards Tova. His touch was read this time by Skiri. Ruben Aguilar coming back to Daniel Congre. Aguilar again. Ruben Aguilar, born in Grenoble, he's French through and through, but created a bit of confusion when he was marked down as having a Colombian nationality on a football manager game, and he ended up getting a call from the Colombian national team, an inquiry to see if he'd be interested in coming and joining them, but he said, "I'm sorry, I'm French." No chance of me playing for another country. Mondonda just hurried into the clearance. Kevin Strootman now. As Marseille try to get a hold of this ball, something that they've just not managed to do in the first 20 minutes. Mondonda again. OM getting hustled in that midfield. Now, Florian Thauvin, bit of space ahead of him. Bounassar. Sarr's cross doesn't beat the first man. Sanson. Well, the games between these two sides do tend to be cagey. That's been the case in recent years. A 1-1 draw last term at the Velodrome and a 0-0 draw here at the Mosson. Although historically there have been some absolute crackers as Payet makes a really good run forward. Doesn't get the free kick. Sorry, it was Amavi as the cross comes over and it's headed wide. Thumbs up from Valère Germain. A whipped cross from Gustavo and Germain so close. It's the first chance of the night falling to OM. That is where Valère Germain is strong, making those runs to the near post. Yeah, speaking about dramatic games between these two sides, it was 20 years ago that Marseille produced one of the most incredible comebacks in French football history. They were trailing 4-0 against Montpellier. And Marseille managed to win it 5-4. Doesn't look like we're going to get a repeat of that tonight, but at least we've had a clear chance now with that header from Germain. Here's Mollet, touched off by Delors. Aguilar in field to Skiri. Now Lan. Lan standing it up towards Mollet. Super shot and a fine save from Mandanda. And the game suddenly coming alive. Poor Lan just stood it up to the far post. Here is Lan. Well, I think he was trying to cross it and nobody anticipated that. It's a great save that from Mandanda, because this strike from Mollet was creeping in at the near post. Well, the man that the Marseille supporters call Il Fenomeno, Steph Mandanda, now in his 11th season, in this his second spell at the club. Strootman. Gustavo losing out. Poor Lan coming inside, and I think he's hurt Thauvin. Thauvin down. Montpellier playing on. Aguilar. Aguilar's cross is collected by Mandanda, who will put the ball out. Well, Thauvin has only just come back from a foot injury, but it was his right foot that was injured, so it doesn't look like it's got anything to do with that. Looks more like a possible knee problem there. Thauvin back on his feet. Good news for Rudy Garcia, who needs Florian Thauvin fit and firing again. So still Montpellier nil, Marseille nil, a chance apiece in the last few minutes. Mandanda in particular making a superb save to deny Florent Mollet what would have been his second Montpellier goal. His first was pretty special as well. He scored an absolute beauty away to Amiens. Lecomte. Now Mollet. Congre to Skiri. Congre's pass, the flick from Aguilar. Andy Delors. Andy Delors crossing towards Laborde, who feels he was impeded by Bounassar. He's a real handful, Gaëtan Laborde, and he's in a little bit of space here. Laborde cutting inside, he's been flagged for offside. And it was his sail from Bordeaux that provoked the outrage of Gustavo Poyet, who was in charge of Bordeaux and went absolutely crazy when he found out that Laborde had been sold to Montpellier the day of a European game, and he wasn't informed about the sale. He launched a scathing attack on the club and was subsequently suspended and then sacked. Thauvin this time has gone in late. And the referee might be thinking, is that retribution for what happened a few minutes ago when Thauvin got hurt? Anyway, Thauvin's been booked. Perhaps allowing the frustration of fairly blunt opening half hour to get the better of him. Look how congested it is, though, when Morgan Sanson gets the ball in the midfield. No room for either side at the moment. Flicked on by Latalik for Mollet. Congre now. Nicolas Kozar. Ball straight to Dimitri Payet. Morgan Sanson. Thauvin now. Gustavo. Bounassar. Bounassar getting past Paul Lan. And then losing control of the ball. Did the hard part, Bounassar, but didn't capitalise. Adil Rami playing the ball inadvertently into touch. And now Montpellier have had a foul throw. It's very scrappy out there. It needs a touch of quality, whether that's from Thauvin or Payet or perhaps one of the Montpellier attackers, Florent Mollet. Oh, we've got another foul throw. Well, Anthony Gauthier may have to show them how it's done. A wry smile from Hiroki Sakai. He's probably thinking, I know how to take throw-ins, maybe I should be playing instead of Bounassar. Milan plays it in, appeals for a handball, waved away by the referee. It was Boubacar Kamara, the defender. Now possibilities for OM. Thauvin. Sanson. Sanson's cross! Oh, it's a brilliant chance. And a bad miss from Payet. That was really well worked from Marseille, and Payet knows he should have put the ball away. Sanson looked up. Such an inviting ball, and Payet, to be fair, tried to make sure, tried to side foot it downwards, but it's ballooned up and over the bar. Strootman forward. Will that give Marseille a bit of confidence? It was a good move. Sarr. Thauvin now. Thauvin running into Nicolas Garza, but the 19-year-old Montpellier defender watched him all the way. Payet with the corner. Payet's delivery far post. Lecomte has dropped it, but he's going to get the free kick after colliding with Adil Rami. And now Montpellier with a bit of space to run into. Aguilar under hitting it, and Amavi is there. Amavi. Bounassar. It's well played by Thauvin for Sanson. Marseille combining well on this right-hand side. Bounassar now. Gustavo. Amavi. Amavi and Payet getting in each other's way, really, there. Strootman. Gustavo back to Kevin Strootman. Amavi. Strootman again. Sanson. I think it's fair to say Marseille are on top now. Thauvin. Strootman. The ball from Payet is a disappointing one. It's not been the best of halves for Dimitri Payet, who's missed a gilt-edged chance and hasn't had his usual influence either in Marseille's attacking play. Now Letalek. Aguilar. Again, the referee waving away appeals from a Montpellier attacker. This time, Andy Delort. It's a slippery surface. It's difficult to tell if he's lost his footing because of that, or partially because of that, or whether he was genuinely fouled. Andy Delort, let's have a look at. You can see both of them slipping, Rami and Delort. Amavi back with camera. Mondonda. It's not an easy surface for the goalkeepers to deal with these back passes. Bunasa. Jordan Amavi. Germain bringing Sarr into the play. Strootman, Sanson. Sarr. Strootman again. Amavi. Gustavo. Here's Payet. Gustavo. Strootman. Kevin Strootman drilling it towards that near post. It's well defended by Montpellier. More good football, though, from OM, who are just starting to show what they're capable of now. Lecomte finding Aguilar. Now Mole. Laborde has dropped deep to pick up possession. Mole now. Well, Strootman's influence beginning to grow in this game. Here's Payet. Was just caught from behind there by Aguilar. It's been a slightly low-key start to his Marseille career for Kevin Strootman, the former Roma player who agreed to come to Marseille to be reunited with Rudy Garcia, with whom he really thrived under at Roma. Payet's delivery. A little bit overhit from Dimitri Payet. More frustration for Rudy Garcia. But going back to Kevin Strootman, he had probably his best game in a Marseille shirt last Sunday against PSG, and he's starting to show off his strength and his excellent reading of the game here tonight as well. Mondonda under pressure. Gaëtan Laborde crossing towards Mole, but Camara is there. It's played back in. Paul Lahn now with the header at the far post, and Mondonda Slightly nervily coming out and getting there. He was concerned that Andy Delors was going to get a touch on that. Sarr. 2 minutes left in what's been a rather attritional first half. Marseille have shown more than the Montpellier. Just that one flash from Montpellier where Mollet had his volley saved by Mandanda. Luis Gustavo. Amavi's header. Strootman with the ball that forces camera to go back. A bit of head tennis, and Marseille almost getting caught out there as the ball was flicked through. Now Lan coming forward for Montpellier. They've been tenacious and solid, Montpellier. We haven't seen the cutting edge, though, that we have seen in recent matches. So far, Delors and Laborde have been starved of a surface, and that pass from Aguilar too difficult for Gaëtan Laborde. Two minutes of added time then. Still a chance for one of these two teams to draw first blood. Strootman going in and catching his man. Elias Skiri, the player who was caught. And the Marseille players don't think he was caught. Let's have a look again. Well, he's pulled away from the challenge, Strootman here. But he has caught Elias Skiri, to be fair. So a free kick, and given the difficulties they've been having to create chances from open play, maybe a free kick will be the answer for Montpellier. Mollet to take. Mollet's shot, not for the first time, he's tried to beat Mandanda from long range. I don't think that was a cross. I think that was most definitely a shot from Mollet. I think Mandanda had it quite comfortably covered. So the whistle blows for half-time at the Stade de la Mosson, a game that has been keenly fought, but no goals as of yet. Montpellier 0, Marseille 0 at the break. Here's Morgan Sanson. It's quite a closed game. We know how important it is to get the first goal. We're hanging in there, and we'll do our best to score now in the second half. Well, defensively we're in position. We're running hard. We've had chances as well. We've got to put the ball away because Montpellier are a solid team. Aguilar says, yes, I do have a bit more space on the flank than the guys in the middle. We need to try to create some openings by combining, and we'll do that in the second half, but we have to be careful not to suffer counterattacks. There is a bit of a dilemma for us whether to go for it or whether to just to stay solid, but I think we've got to be careful not to give Marseille a chance because they're a strong team. Ruben Aguilar, the Montpellier right wing back, has been more of a right back probably in the first half. He's a player who loves to get forward but has not been as attack-minded, I would say, as usual tonight. We'll have a look at the highlights from the first half. Good break forward here from Jordan Amavi. No foul, but when the ball came back over, it was Valère-Germain with the header just wide. Luis Gustavo's cross, Germain arriving at the near post. Not far away. And Montpellier at the other end. Skiri's switching the play to Paul Lahn. Lahn standing up across far post, and Florent Mollet with a super strike that Mondonda saved. Good move then from Marseille. Germain finding Thauvin. Thauvin's pass for Sanson. Sanson's cross for Payet, and really he should be scoring that. Best chance of the night falling to Dimitri Payet. Marseille yet to get a shot on target, and that'll be a worry, of course, for Rudy Garcia. 0-0 at the break between Montpellier and Marseille. The last chance, more of a sniff really for Andy Delors, not a true chance. Florent Mollet then with a speculative long-range shot that was quite comfortably wide. No way through for either team in the first 45 minutes. Welcome back to the Stade de la Mosson in Montpellier. Half-time between Montpellier and Marseille. It's goalless at the break. Marseille have had a couple of big chances, notably Dimitri Payet putting a wonderful cross from Morgan Sanson over the bar. Germain has headed just wide, but if truth be told, it's been a game so far of very few chances, a very congested midfield, and a Montpellier team playing with the handbrake on somewhat. They're not going at Marseille as perhaps they would another team. And it will be interesting to see if Montpellier come out in the second half and try to exert a little bit more pressure, try to create an opening for Andy Delors, who's in such wonderful form, or Gaëtan Laborde, also in good nick himself. Montpellier won 3-0 in their last game away to Toulouse, 2-0 before that against Bordeaux. And they'll probably be reasonably satisfied, given that they can play much better, and yet they are still holding Marseille to a goalless draw. Kostas Mitroglou is warming up on the pitch. The Greek international striker, who's being linked with interest, perhaps with a bid from West Ham in January. It's not really happened for Mitroglou so far at Marseille. He's not been picked particularly often. His goal-scoring record isn't terrible, but he has put in one or two very disappointing performances. Clinton Ng, another attacking option for Rudy Garcia tonight. But there will certainly be a bit of pressure on Marseille to sign a striker in January. By all accounts, they were close to signing Mario Balotelli in August. That didn't happen, and they didn't go in for anybody else, deciding to renew their faith in Germain and Mitroglou. Still, if you look at Marseille's record this season, they've scored goals, 22 so far. Only PSG have scored more than them. But they've been letting in a good number as well. So it would be too simple just to say that Marseille's problem is they don't have a top-class striker. Marseille are a club that certainly feel, and with some justification, that they should be playing Champions League football on a regular basis. When you look at their stadium, you look at their history, you look at the immense support that they have in the south of France, but also throughout the country. They need to be playing Champions League football, but it's not easy these days. Certainly in France, it's tough with Paris Saint-Germain occupying inevitably one of the Champions League qualifying berths. You've only got one other automatic Champions League position. The team that finishes third can qualify for the Champions League, but needs to go through two qualifiers. So we have 45 minutes then for either Montpellier or Marseille to break the deadlock here. Two evenly matched teams, judging by the first 45 minutes. Marseille have slightly enjoyed the better of things. They've created the two best chances. But they need to do more if they're to get back to winning ways. Montpellier chasing a third straight victory. Mandanda to clear for Marseille. Germain beaten in the air by Congre. Gustavo into the path of Payet. Payet playing it early across goal. And it was a dangerous ball. Koza didn't dare leave it for his goalkeeper, decided to intervene. Well, they have the quality, no question. When you look at players like Luis Gustavo, Kevin Strootman, Dimitri Payet, Florian Thauvin, Marseille have enough quality to be pushing and qualifying for the Champions League. They missed out last season, but there's every chance Monaco won't be in the mix this term. They're currently joint bottom of the standings. Payet to deliver. Who knows, Montpellier, if they can keep up their current form, will be genuine contenders. We've got Lille as well, who are enjoying a superb start. Thauvin trying to make something of that pass, but Paul Lann is strong. Florent Mollet now. Koza finds Aguilar. Laborde with the shot on the turn. Well, if they do get a chance, Montpellier, in particular if Laborde or Delors get a chance, you would fancy them to put it in the net. They're just so sharp at the moment. They haven't had a sniff as of yet. This is Germain. Strootman. Payet. Gustavo. Another Marseille corner. It's been a bright start to the second half from OM. Payet's ball in. Well defended again by Montpellier. Camera all the way back to Mandanda. It's not been a great game. Sorry, it's not been a great weekend for the chasers. Behind Paris Saint-Germain, Lille losing to PSG. Lyon only managing a draw at home against Bordeaux. Saint-Etienne have moved up into the top 5 following their dramatic win against Angers this afternoon. Possibilities here. Laborde finding Paul Lann. This is Mollet. Lann again. Andy Delors. Le Tallec. Finding Delors. His cross, though, too close to Mandanda. Now, that's why Des Zakarian's not happy. There was a real chance. There was 5 against 4. Montpellier had numbers up in that counter-attack, but they didn't take advantage of it. Now Marseille with a possibility. Thauvin. Well, Thauvin in the clear, and he just seemed to stop. I'm not quite sure why. There was no offside. Did he hear a whistle? There have been 1 or 2 whistles from the stands. Mollet. Here's Lan. Lan's cross left-footed. Aguilar down to Mole. Aguilar then crossing to Laborde. And Gaëtan Laborde has taken his chance. Montpellier open the scoring here. And the Stade de la Mosson erupts. One of the surprise teams of the season so far. Michel Dezacarian's men have got their noses in front against Marseille. It's Laborde's 5th league goal this season. Good play from Aguilar. Andy Delors was offside, Laborde wasn't. And it's a pinpoint header from the former Bordeaux man. So it's Montpellier who get the all-important first goal. We heard Morgan Sanson at half-time saying we know how important the first goal is. How can Marseille react to that? They are behind and in danger of losing for a 4th time in 7 games. More importantly, they'd be in danger of dropping 6 points behind the Champions League positions. Aguilar. Our poor Lan has been caught late. Morgan Sanson, the player who went in rather clumsily, and he's going to be booked. Well, it's clumsy, very clumsy from Sanson when charging in. Perhaps tried to slow down or stop, but couldn't do so. Free kick to Montpellier, Mole to take. Another game in which Marseille have failed to keep a clean sheet. It's becoming a real problem. And there was a big space between the centre-backs, Rami and Camara, when the ball was played in. Thauvin. Kevin Strootman and Gustavo Strootman. Here's Amavi. Dimitri Payet. Payet's pass, but Sanson had just stopped his run, and Marseille need to get a bit of composure here. I mentioned before they have the quality in their ranks, and Montpellier know they'll need to be outstanding to keep Marseille out for 90 minutes. Offside, Thauvin. Now, this was the incident where Thauvin just stopped. Did he think he was offside? Did he hear it? Yes. Now, the sign from Germain, there was a whistle. Must have been from the crowd. And then moments later, Montpellier taking the lead. One happy manager, Michel Dezacarian, leaping for joy, and Montpellier on the attack here. Aguilar. Mole. Aguilar. Good cross again from Aguilar. The header from slightly off balance, Elias Skiri. Kostas Mitroglou stepping up his warm-up. Is it time for Marseille to go with two out-and-out attackers here? They're going to have to try something. Handball from Letalik. Payet's ball. It's Lucas Ocampos who is going to come on first. Bounassar. Here's Strootman. Trying to find Gustavo, but Skiri is there. No free kick. Germain thought he was fouled. Florent Mollet. Two to aim for in the middle. Mollet's going to go for goal himself. An important block there from Adil Rami. It's disjointed, very disjointed from Marseille so far. Aguilar. Delors. Both Delors and Laborde are very mobile attackers. Gaëtan Laborde trying to break through the middle. Camera doing just about enough, but Gaëtan Laborde is a man enjoying his football at the moment. So positive here. It's a good covering tackle, this from Camera. Ocampos off, and Morgan Sanson is the man going off as Lucas Ocampos comes on. Not a happy return to the Mosson then for Morgan Sanson. Was on a booking as well, Sanson. That might have influenced Rudy Garcia's decision to withdraw him. So Payet's moving into a more central position just off Germain with Campos wide left now. Letalik with the ball in, too close to Mandanda. Gustavo. Payet. Touching it on to Thauvin. Thauvin flicking it into the box. It's just behind Germain. More urgency from Marseille. Amavi finding Bounassar. Payet. Payet clipping it towards Germain. Excellent defending from Hilton. Germain now. Hooking it across goal. So much determination in the Montpellier ranks, and a mistake at the back from Marseille. This time it's Adil Rami covering, but it's been lost by Amavi. Laborde with the ball in. Laborde still. Oh, great finish! Gaëtan Laborde punishes Marseille once again. Slack defending, but super finishing from Laborde. Well, Marseille in trouble now. It's one thing to lose 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. They're 2 down now at Montpellier. And they are in serious danger of being cut off from the Champions League positions. Look at that. Terrible mistake from Camara. Rami makes up for it, but then Jordan Amavi inexplicably loses possession again. And again. Well, it's schoolboy stuff, this, from Marseille. And you cannot give a striker in the form of Gaëtan Laborde this sort of opportunity. 6 goals for Laborde in his last 7 matches now. A series of mistakes from OM. Bad mistakes as well from Camara and from Amavi. Well, it was already going to be a tough task to get back into the contest. They're now 2 down against a Montpellier side that's led in just 7 goals in 11 games this season so far. They're on the attack again, very close to a third. Well, Laborde trying to get a quick-fire hat-trick here. It was clever from Mole. Bounassar not quick enough to react there. Well, it would have been a 12-minute hat-trick from Laborde had he scored that. Andy Delort. Well, Campos. The momentum very much with Montpellier. Here's Mole. Fouled by Gustavo. Florent Mole, something of a late bloomer, 26 years of age, and just finding his feet last season in the top tier with Metz. Scored 7 goals for relegated Metz and got his big move to Montpellier. A neat player, and a player who seems to be fitting in really well here. Delort to take the free kick. Nicely flighted. Montpellier is, with their brilliant start, 22 points from their first 11 games. It's their best start since 2011-2012 when they won the league title. That time they had 23 points, 1 extra point. Here's Paul Lahn. Good tackle from Bounassar. Brilliant from Laborde, not so good with the cross though. Lutalek. Koza. Oh, Campos wins it. Still time for Marseille, but they've been badly shaken by those two Gaëtan Laborde goals. Here's Gustavo for Kevin Strootman. Strootman's ball in, the header from Hilton. Just went behind for a corner, I think. It's Clinton Ng who's going to be coming on rather than Mitroglou. And is it Tovan going off? It's not been his most effective night by any means, Florian Thauvin. Here's Payet. Payet's corner near post. Well, it went a very long way. Amavi. Jordan Amavi, the former Aston Villa player, who's effectively replaced Patrice Evra, was briefly Marseille's first choice left back. And he's not convincing at the moment, Jordan Amavi. All right, so Germain going off. Clinton Ng on, he'll add more speed. Amavi's throw. A chance for Thauvin, an air shot from Thauvin, and then on his right foot, not much better. It's not been his night, it's not been Marseille's night so far. Benjamin Lecomte has not had a save to make. Fala German had that one chance, didn't he? The header early on that flashed just wide of the far post. Well, this is turning into something of a horror show from Marseille. Montpellier threatening again with Delors. Lovely switch of the play to Mollet. Options for Florent Mollet. He's found Lan, and Paul Lan has slotted the ball beyond Mondonda. Well, it most certainly is turning into a horror show for Marseille. 3-0. Montpellier absolutely flying here. Well, they bided their time, Montpellier. Didn't do much in an attacking sense in the first half, but they've taken advantage in this second half. Marseille have left gaps at the back. So much time for Delors, then Mollet. Paul Lan wasn't closed down quickly enough. It's a very good, precise finish from Lan, but again, it's very, very sloppy from Marseille. Zakarian looks like he can hardly believe this. Thauvin for Marseille, Payet for Marseille. Payet still, it's gone out, I think. Just overran it. Well, Marseille are almost certainly almost certain to be eliminated, from the Europa League. Just 1 point they've taken from their first 3 matches in the group stage, and they're in trouble in the league, particularly in light of events tonight. Maybe the scoreline shouldn't be that surprising given the results when Marseille have travelled away to leading teams this season. They lost 4-2 at Lyon, 3-0 at Lille. They're 3-0 down here at Montpellier. Great ball from Congre. Lan. Look at the space again. On the edge of the box, Mandanda denying Laborde. Mandanda looking at his defenders, looking at the outfield players, saying, come on. Absolutely nobody closing Gaëtan Laborde down there. When you consider they've got Luis Gustavo and Kevin Strootman in front of the defence, you would expect much more protection. Corner to Montpellier. Mollet takes. Aguilar. Well, there was a feeling in Marseille that they were getting their solidity back. A couple of clean sheets against Caen, against Nice before that loss to Paris Saint-Germain. It's been blown out of the water though tonight. Bounassar. Gustavo. All the way back to Mandanda, and look at Florent Mollet. Look at the way these Montpellier players are so hungry for the ball. Kevin Strootman taken off. And Duje Celetica, the Croatian international, is on. Well, this is a night that the late Louis Nicolas would have absolutely loved. Montpellier's president from 1974 until last year, when he sadly died at the age of 74, and that is why after 74 minutes the crowd here are chanting Loulou as a tribute to Louis Nicolas, the club president for so long. Trying to do the maths in my head here. 43 years he took charge in 74. Now Thauvin on his left foot. Handball perhaps from Ocampos, yes. Here's the goal from Paul Lan. Kevin Strootman, the player, just not quite quick enough to close him down. Not a great night for Strootman, not a great night for Marseille. It is turning into a great night for Montpellier, though, who, as it stands, will be second in the standings. They will move above Lille on goal difference. Ocampos with the throw-in. Here's Bounassar. Well, since Strootman went off, we've got Camara moving up into the midfield. Cheleta Tsar, the Croatian centre-back, alongside Adil Rami now. Free kick goes the way of Marseille. I mentioned earlier this evening that one of Marseille's greatest ever comebacks was against Montpellier. They were 4-0 down and won 5-4. If they can turn this one around, that might be even more special given the amount of time left. Gaëtan Laborde going off to a big ovation. He's the man who's done the damage tonight. 2 quick-fire goals in the second half, effectively sinking Olympique de Marseille. 2 really smart finishers as well. Junior Sambia, the player, coming on to shore things up in the midfield. What a move it is turning out, this, for Gaëtan Laborde, who was a Bordeaux man through and through, came through the youth academy at Bordeaux, had spells as Bordeaux's first choice striker, but it just never quite happened for him there. Sambia enjoying the lack of a challenge from a Marseille player. Eventually was challenged and thought he was fouled. Well, this Marseille performance has just got worse and worse. Actually started the second half quite brightly, looked the better team. The goals, each one has hurt them more and more. Alain's cross. Scurry. Aguilar tackled fairly by Amavi. Gustavo. Even Luis Gustavo, a long way below his best tonight. such a consistent player, usually. Amavi. Long from Gilletta Sarr, asking a lot of NG, who's chasing hard, but chasing a lost cause. Adil Rami. They just don't look like they want to give an inch tonight, Montpellier, and it's been the way they've played for quite some time now. They're heading for an 11th game without a defeat. And they could well be emerging as Paris Saint-Germain's closest rivals after tonight. It's all relative, of course. When I say closest rival, they would still be 11 points behind the leaders. But that would be some achievement to see Montpellier in second position after 12 games. And Mollet looks to be in a bit of trouble here. Is it cramp or something more serious? Aguilar, superb from Ruben Aguilar, and it's opening up again for Montpellier. Mollet going for goal. He had Sambier in a good position, just to his left. They all want to get in on the act now. Florent Mollet going off then. He's been impressive, particularly in this second half. Just 8 league appearances for Montpellier, but already he's won over these fans. And it's Ambroise Ayongo, the Cameroon international, coming on. Ayongo, usually a first choice on the left side of Montpellier's defence, but has just had a bit of a knee problem of late. No risks taken with him tonight, but he's going to play the last few minutes. Bounassar. Payet for Camara. Camara again. Amavi for Payet. Shot on for Payet. Blocked by Hilton. This is Thauvin. Sarr can't cross because Ayongo is there. Another Dimitri Payet corner, and Adil Rami was attacking it. Can Marseille grab a lifeline? They are running out of time. This is going to have to go in, perhaps, from Amavi. It was a good strike. Leconte, though, up to the task, punching the ball clear. Amavi once more. It's a good cross as well from Jordan Amavi, and Luis Gustavo with a really good opportunity. It's just not Marseille's night tonight. They've had some decent chances in front of goal. That was the shot from Amavi. Luis Gustavo here should be scoring. It's been a strange game because they've had 2 or 3 chances they really should have put away, Marseille. And at the same time, Montpellier, without being brilliantly creative, have just taken advantage of the lapses at the back from Marseille. It's very much a defeat of their own making, Marseille, without wanting to take anything away from Montpellier. That's something they've done fantastically well. Luis Gustavo could be off it. No, yellow card. He's asking for the video. He's not going to get video for a yellow card. You can't, the referee can't do that. Paul Lan, the player who was caught late by the Brazilian. Usually a very calm and tranquil person, Luis Gustavo, but it's been such a torrid night for Marseille. He's losing his cool out there. One of the turning points, perhaps, that miss from Dimitri Payet. 0-0 it was at that moment in the first half. Rami for Sarr. Rami back to Mondonda. Chaleta Sarr forward. Clinton Ng. Montpellier looking like they are enjoying defending more than Marseille are enjoying attacking at the moment. The flag up here against Andy Delors, who is running out of time to get his 6th goal in 6 games. He's scored in each of his last 5. Five defeats then in 12 games it'll be for Marseille this season. Quite simply not good enough for a team openly going for Champions League qualification. They've made it very clear that's their objective, having only just missed out on the last day last season. Just 2 minutes of added time. It's all over as a contest, this one. Marseille still looking for what would be only a consolation goal. Payet with the free kick. Montpellier will be desperate for another clean sheet. Payet's delivery, and amazingly, Leconte has kept it out again. Florian Thauvin denied from point-blank range. And now perhaps Montpellier can add a 4th. Andy Delors. Delors to Junior Sambia. Sambia denied by Mondonda, who ensures the scoreline isn't even more embarrassing for OM. Excellent saves at both ends then. Leconte denying Thauvin. Mondonda denying Sambia. Clinton NG. Here's the chance for Tovan onside. I think it's gone off his knee or his thigh. Super save. Even if it was straight at him, he showed very firm hands there. It's a great night for Montpellier. Michel Dezacarian's men, tipped by some for a relegation battle. They're going to be second in the standings tonight. They are so strong, so solid, so organised, and they've got strikers in attack that just don't miss at the moment. The final whistle blows, and it is a sobering defeat for Marseille. Montpellier march on. They are above Lille now in second position, 6 points above Marseille. And the final score from the Stade de la Mosson: Montpellier 3, Marseille 0. A bad night for Rudy Garcia and for Marseille. Another defeat and a lot of work to be done at Marseille. They shot themselves in the foot somewhat, particularly with the second goal. It was well finished by Laborde, but only after 3 terrible individual mistakes. What a story, though, this is turning into for Montpellier. Beaten here on the opening day of the season by Dijon. Since then, unbeatable. It's their second consecutive 3-0 win. It's their 11th game undefeated. And they are now the closest challenger to Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think anybody thinks they're going to repeat their heroics from 2012 when they pipped PSG. But they're a football club that just keep on fighting. They have a 41-year-old captain, Vitorino Hilton, who is exemplary. Let's hear from Dimitri Payet. Well, I think we just got it all wrong in the second half. We know how hard it is to play against this Montpellier team. The first half wasn't too bad, but us guys up front didn't finish off the chances. And in the second half, it just was very poor. We're inconsistent. We're capable of great things, but also terrible things. We have to work hard, otherwise we're going to stay in mid-table, winning the odd home game, losing the odd away game. Yeah, of course, tonight it's about details, and I think we had the chances, and in the first half, if we'd have scored it would have been different. Yeah, of course. Defensively, we have to improve, and it's not just the keeper and the 4 defenders, it's everybody who has to work. We worked hard as a team last week, but we didn't do it as well today, and we've paid. Yeah, we can talk, but we've talked already. We've got to start showing it on the pitch now. We had a bit of trouble getting into the game. I think we were playing a bit deep, but in the second half we were better physically and tactically. And I think we've shown people tonight that we deserve to be where we are in second position. We're doing our best to play good football, and everybody's enjoying themselves out on the pitch.
Ça vous permet de jouer, c'est pas une option pour faire que défendre.
Non, je pense que ce système de jeu, il faut savoir le manœuvrer. Quand on arrive, nous, ça fait un moment que Montpellier le fait.
No, Montpellier have shown that this system of three centre backs isn't necessarily defensive if you execute it well. It can work well, but we're really motivated, and when we attack, we all go for it. When a cross comes in, there are 5 or 6 players going for the ball, and we've had a great start to the season, and we're happy. Well, as long as we're up there, well, we're all going to believe in our chances. We've beaten 2 or 3 big teams, and we're doing well. A happy Andy Delors. No goals for him tonight for the first time in 5 outings, but he doesn't look too worried about that. A 3-0 win over Marseille. Fantastic times for Montpellier. Just 2 shots on target for Marseille, and their finishing tonight was poor. Their defending at times was terrible. We'll have a look at the goals. The opener headed in by Gaëtan Laborde on 51 minutes. Then a series of defensive mistakes gave Laborde the chance to capitalise and make it 2-0. Delors and Mollet then setting up Paul Lan, and Lan slotting beyond Mandanda. 3-0 is how it has finished. Plenty of goals in France this Sunday. We've had 15 goals in 3 matches. And it has been another dramatic weekend in Liga. It's the same old story at the top, though. Paris Saint-Germain marching on. It's 12 wins in a row for Thomas Tuchel's team. Their closest challengers now are not Lyon, not Marseille, not even Lille. They are Montpellier. Look at that. Montpellier and Lille on 25 points. Bit of a gap between them and Lyon, Saint-Etienne, Marseille down in 6th. 6 points off the Champions League spots. Guingamp, Amiens, Monaco in the bottom 3 at the moment. Monaco and Guingamp in the automatic relegation positions. Work for Thierry Henry to do, but work for Rudy Garcia to do as well at Marseille. They are cut adrift, not just from Paris Saint-Germain, but also from the Champions League positions now. They've been beaten 3-0 tonight by Montpellier. We'll be back, of course, as ever, next weekend. Plenty of exciting games to look forward to, including Monaco versus Paris Saint-Germain. What a fixture that is going to be. Thierry Henry looking for his first win as Monaco boss. Wouldn't he love to do it against PSG? Do join us for that one and all of the league in action. We will see you again very soon. All the best. Bye-bye.